Welcome, welcome. I'm doing a bit of art today. This isn't something that I'm great at, it's just a bit of fun. So a friend of mine was at a Pride March recently and managed to earn herself the nickname of the pronoun protector. And I thought that was really funny, so I wanted to draw this and then watercolour it. And it is my friend dressed as a superhero, with a P for pronoun protector, and of course with a trans flag and a cape and everything. So as you can see here, I'm just sketching it out first, and that is the finished pen drawing. And now I'm starting to fill in the colours. But before I continue that, I've had some comments lately from somebody wanting to see more of my cats. So, okay, give the people what they want. This is my cat Rupert, and this is my other cat Belle. And that's all the cats you're going to get in this video, so if you've only come for cats, then you can go now. Bye! So the chevrons on her knees are going to be the ones that you get on the Progress Pride flag, so it's going to be black, brown, and then I can't remember the order off the top of my head, but it's pink, blue and white, or white, blue, white and pink, something like that. So we'll start with those because it's a really small, fiddly little bit. I'm probably gonna have to go over it a few times. With watercolours, they look darker when you first put them on, and then they dry lighter, so you have to build up the colours somewhat. And of course there's a lot of waiting around for the layers to dry. So that's the blue layer, so it must be black, brown, blue, pink and then white. I know you can barely tell what those colours are at the moment, but we'll build them up. So I'm doing her boots purple because she likes to wear purple. So I based the costume partly on Supergirl and partly on Wonder Woman. And the references I was drawing from were all really skinny, and I did make an effort to make it more realistic. But my friend still said when she saw it, I haven't been that skinny since I was 14. But I tried, okay. And hopefully when it's shaded, it'll give a bit more of the sense of size. She hasn't seen the coloured version, just the sketch. So hopefully she'll like the colour version a bit more. I started off making these cuffs blue, but I changed my mind later on. So you see that they become purple later. working on the trans flag there. So it has white in the centre, and then it has 2 pink stripes either side, and then on the outer 2 stripes there, sort of baby blue. At least for that bit, I didn't have to worry about colour scheme. But I did make some mistakes with it on her costume, which I ended up having to change. So you see that as we go along. So in real life, my friend has a rainbow flag that she wears over her shoulders when she goes to Pride events. It's a really nice flag as well. It's not one of these cheap ones you buy for a £5 off eBay. It's a proper nice fabric one. And I would have liked to have the cape look like that. But I realised I just didn't know enough about the physics of the flying flag and how to make the stripes look right on it. And I was just too afraid of messing it up, so I thought I'm going to have the skirt be the rainbow element. And then the cape can just be a solid colour. So I'm having purple as an accent colour. So I wanted to put purple in the middle of the rainbow skirt, which is obviously not, purple doesn't normally go in the middle of the rainbow, but it just kind of felt right, so I was taking a bit of artistic license on this one. And then I substituted magenta in there instead of red, because there's going to be quite a lot of red elsewhere in this costume. So it's going magenta to orange rather than red to orange. I actually don't think that the colours are as bright and bold on camera as they are in real life. And I do have too many stripes here for the pride flag. 7 rather than 6, so I ended up having to have 2 shades of blue. I don't think it really matters that much, you just need to get across the idea of the rainbow. So this is where I made my first big mistake with this, and that was choosing to make the cape red. I changed that later, but it nearly threw off the whole piece. This is the first time I've painted in about 6 months, just because I've been busy doing other things, and you kind of get out of the habit. But I always really enjoy it when I do it, so I think I should allow myself to do it more and make time for it. We can't have everything in our lives be something that we hope will make us money. We have to have some things that are just for a hobby. So you're probably starting to see the problem here is that I've made her tights red. I'm also making the bodice of her costume red. And the cape's red, and it just ended up being too much red, and I hated it. But don't worry, I fixed it in the end. You can't really see the round thing there, but it's her pronoun badge. It says she, her on it. So yeah, this is the point where I'm realising this is too much red and that I can't stand to look at it. I probably should have made the main colour purple rather than red. But I just kind of didn't really plan it out well enough, to be honest. But anyway, I decided to ignore that for now because you can't really fix these things until you've let them dry. So I just worked on her hair a little bit, which is a lot darker than that, but you have to start with the lighter colours first and then fill in the darker bits afterwards. Now, all paintings go through an ugly phase, and this is definitely the ugly phase of this painting. And what I've learned in the past is you have to just power through it. But while I was doing this piece, I kind of forgot that, and I nearly gave up on it. Just giving her some purple eye makeup there, and I think I gave her purple lips to start with, but I changed that a little bit later. Darkening up the black stripes there. That makes quite a big difference. And here, because I haven't painted for quite a while, I was forgetting that you cannot treat watercolours like acrylics. You can't just put one colour over another, it's not going to work like that. You're going to end up with a mix of the two. So I tried to put purple over the top and then realised it was just not going to work. Just ending up with a sort of purpley burgundy kind of colour instead. So at this point I'd wetted the paint and then lifted it with a tissue, and I'm waiting for that to dry, so I'm just filling in some other parts of the background like the grass and the sky first. The sky is a very, very light blue there, and it's probably so light that it doesn't even come across really on camera. But I promise I am putting colour on there. I missed the bit underneath her arm, but I did come back to that later. I also missed the top left-hand corner. But again, I did it later. Just doing those little marquees. And then I'm doing the path here. It took me a little while, I think, to mix up a good grey. Because I realised afterwards I have a Payne's grey in my palette. I added it a while back and then I just forgot that it was there. So that is my mixed up grey instead. And then this is me going in with a metallic marker instead to get that purple colour. Because, as I was saying before, you can't really put watercolours on top of each other because they'll just sort of mix with each other even if the layer below has dried. At the end of the video, I'll show you all of the different supplies that I've got, what each one is called. So I loved that sort of darker purple, so I'm going in over all the other purple bits and then updating it to that lovely metallic deep purple. And I was starting to think about shading here, which is why I sort of did part of one and then part of the other and came back, but then I thought, no, I'm not gonna shade with the actual colour itself. I'm gonna go over the top with like a grey to make the shadows. And then I decided to make those wrist cuffs purple as well. I think that really helped to bring the colours together. But I was starting to give up at this point because of the whole ugly phase thing. It was looking very flat. And I was just thinking, it looks cartoonish and amateurish, and I honestly had reached the point where I thought there's no point in continuing to film because I'm never going to want to share this. So I ended up working a little bit more on it off camera. So you'll see it in a minute, you'll see it suddenly jump to having had some more work done on it, which was mostly shading. If you look on the cape in particular, you can see where I've gone over with some manga brush pens, just grey colours, just kind of bring out that realism a little bit more. And then doing the oh so satisfying part of taking off the washi tape. I did do a little bit more work on it, which was to put some gouache on because I'd gone in a bit too much with the manga pens, which I'm showing you now. Those are the manga ones. They're just from the works. The metallic marker pens were from eBay, I think. And then these are my main watercolours. They are Winsor & Newton's Cotman watercolours, which is the student grade. I think this came as a set of 12 and then I added some more pans over time. And then this is the Kuretake Gem Colours set. And then I did do a little bit more off screen, which was to add some gouache onto the face, just to tamp down those shadows a little bit, because I didn't want them to look as though they were facial hair. They are shadows. And that is the finished painting. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you next time.